Hi, everybody, and welcome to the RHAP B&B for episode 6 of Survivor 44. My name is Mike Bloom. I have gathered the three stooges of podcasting to muck around and talk about the now mandatory mergatory episode of Survivor 44. The tribes have come together, and we have lost Josh in the process, but it's a halfway point for a lot of reasons. Halfway point of the game, just about the halfway point of the season. The jury's beginning, so I feel like we could really take a breath like Danny, look back upon the previous 13 days and look ahead to what's coming now that the game is individual. Of course, I am joined by the one and only Liana Boraas. Liana, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's always so nice to see all of these kooky characters that we've got to know over the past couple weeks all get to merge and come together. Obviously, not the real merge, as Jeff would remind us several times. You have to earn your spot at the merge, but we are here. We have made it, and Josh has managed to piss so many people off that they all were happy to vote him off the island.
Did you notice, by the way, this is completely tangential, but when Jeff handed out the buffs at the very end of Tribal Council, Jam Jam held up like a piece of fabric to be like, can I keep this? I have no idea what that was about.
Because they have to throw their buffs down. So
I don't
what
think that
piece
was.
of
I don't think that
fabric
was. I don't think
it?
that was. Yeah, I don't think that was a buff. It looked just
Okay,
like a random piece of fabric. I thought.
Okay, I'll go back and look. I'll see if I can find that.
I love that. Just glean everything you can from the
Yeah.
Survivor experience. Well, we are so excited to have someone who we glean every ounce of entertainment out of all the podcasts that he's been doing. You know, he did come on during the feedback show in the first episode, and I said, I'm going to have this guy on the B&B back. You know, he saw Matt lose 2 votes. When Matt gets his vote back, I think that's what I'm going to have him on. And lo and behold, that finally happened. So I'm so happy we reached this milestone in this episode so we can welcome back to the B&B the fantastic Chappell.
Hi. Thank y'all for having me here at the B&B. You know, I love it here. I have a standing reservation every season. I would hope it moves around depending on who has votes and who doesn't. But Mike, I'm glad you brought that up because I definitely forgot that Matt had lost his vote. There's so much stuff going on in this season that I don't know where all the advantages and fake advantages are. So every episode, I just learned something new. And aside from like Jamie Lynn, I don't think anybody knows everything that's going on. So I'm happy for y'all to enlighten me on some more stuff that I might have missed.
Thank goodness we have the MVP, truly.
Yes.
Truly. Yes. The most valuable person you could ever interact with. I also similarly completely forgot that Matt has lost his vote. Like, completely forgot that he couldn't vote. I mean, it didn't end up seemingly to factor in too much, at least to the overall decision that was made. But I think it's just representative of the chaos that's happening. And we also got Carson with the, oh, yeah, Jamie has an idol. Okay, wait, hold on. Let's do the flashback. Okay, no, that's the fake idol that was planted by Matt who got Medivac. Okay, right. Got it. Great. Like, trying to keep everything straight. A mess.
Yeah, so we got, you know, last season we had the really fun thing of Owen doing the list of advantages up on, you know, full, but producers were able to fill it out after the fact as to who has what. This time we sort of had, because so much limited information has been passed around, like, oh, this person has this idol, and maybe the birdcage idol has been found in others, and we got the literal flashbacks to it. It's the closest we'll get to a previously on Survivor, but to your point, you know, there are things from the premiere that are still reverberating. Like when Carson says, okay, just so you know, everybody, I had an idol. It's done now. That was a thing in the past. And Lauren's like, oh, I have an extra vote. And it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that you were part of that whole malarkey going on in the premiere episode by not voting.
Yeah, and that came because of a bank vote too, right? Of like remembering how that came. Like, it wasn't just an extra vote. It was a bank vote. Like, okay. Which then, of course, brings up the whole inheritance advantage. Is that going to come back? I don't know. We'll see.
Right now, no advantages to be seen, either showing up or being played. As we said, it is all about these 12 people, meeting some of them for the first time. And the person who has, ironically enough, probably met the most out of this group is the one who gets left out in the cold, as Josh culminates one of the oddest edits I have seen in Modern Survivor in quite some time, where I think it truly does mimic the truth of his game, in that, like, the first 3 episodes, he was really laying low on the winning tribe, didn't need to do anything. Then he all of a sudden gets like painted as, okay, he thinks he's the middleman, but he's completely delusional, doesn't know that everyone's coming for him. Then he gets swapped over to the soap opera that is Tika and just deals with that mess and becomes the main character for like 2 episodes. And then gets to a point where he, on one hand, could say, I have the most amount of people that could possibly be working with me. when it's the exact opposite, that so many bridges have been burned at this point that he is out on an island while everyone else is driving around. And so he ends up essentially, I would say, just based on the vote split, near unanimously frozen out of the merged tribe. It's so interesting to compare this to an Ellie-like situation where Ellie did have like Janine and Owen left out of the vote, but I do think Chappelle's pretty comparable in terms of like there was a rivalry from a tribe going into this mergatory vote, and everyone else was like, yeah, sure, I'll hop on board that. Let's exploit that to the greatest extent.
Is it
Yeah.
Jam Gabler?
Yes, 100%. It's very reminiscent of some past seasons too. You know, you get to the merge, and it's kind of like, okay, who can we cut with the least amount of problems, right? Or who's going to be the easiest vote? It's not so much the most strategic vote, but I just need to get to the merge. We haven't earned our spot. How can I earn my spot and then focus on the rest of it? I actually would like to earn the jury as well. And so if we could just get somebody out, it really doesn't matter as long as it's not me. Let's just move forward. But the Josh edit is very weird because throughout the season, everybody said, we got to get Josh out. He's the biggest threat. I mean, he is crazy. Like he's going to be in this alliance with the Meat Brigade. He's going to be in these people. He's so strategic. He's all this other stuff. And I'm like, actually, no. Actually, nobody wants to work with him. Literally no one. Literally no allies. He has 0 allies. And the one ally that he does have is willing to throw him to the wolves because he voted for that guy already. He like, Jam is out on Josh. This man is not a threat. He is actually the opposite of a threat. He is the goatiest goat at this point because nobody wants to work with him. And they said, well, let's just get rid of him. We'll figure out the rest of that later on. Because I did find it fascinating that for this man to be such a threat, we got none of it on the show. We didn't get one conversation where people were like, I really like working with Josh. He's so strategic. I think that me and him can. Nobody. And this man was on every tribe. I mean, he like seen everybody in the game, and everybody was like, not for me. Not my thing.
Yeah, it might be the thing where like the mystery, right, is more alluring than the known variables of like, there's something about Kane that's just so je ne sais quoi. Maybe it's the way he walks or him fighting with the sword. Josh, we have Josh at home. I don't need Josh.
Okay, like I totally get what you're saying, Chappell, because what I saw of Josh was a bad liar. Like the fact that even in this episode, he's lying to Brandon. Yes, I have a cage idol. Lying to Heidi. Well, I guess telling the truth to Heidi. No,
so
I don't.
He claimed to me that Brandon was the only person he lied to. He tried to do like the Littlefinger in season 2 of Game of Thrones strategy of like, I'm going to tell a very specific lie to one person. So if the information gets out,
comes back,
then I'll know it was that person. He apparently had a close relationship with Jamie from the journey they took. And so it was like, okay, just so you know, this is what the situation is. But then leave it to the MVP to then completely flip the logic by Josh therefore telling me his idol is fake, it must mean his idol is real. You can't get past
Right.
me and my magic wand, Josh.
And it's so confusing because it's like, yeah, you told Brandon, you said, Brandon, I'm lying to you. This idol is real. I promise you, this is a real idol. And I'm lying, but this is a real idol. But yes, but you also lied to Carolyn and Jam. So it's not one person has this information. Now 3 people know that you're lying, you know, like, so then you go and tell Jamie, actually, I'll tell you the truth. Like, which one is it? And that's why people can't trust you. And I get it. Maybe that's why they want him out. He's just not trustworthy, and you can give it to that. But it's just this idea that the narrative is that, oh, he's such a big threat. No, actually, he's the opposite of a threat. No one is threatened by him. You're just kind of nervous about him. He's kind of shifty.
Yeah, maybe that's what they said just to be nice. They're like, we're targeting him because they're a big threat.
I wouldn't be surprised if I'm completely honest. Yeah, where it's like, I mean, because you can't be like, I want to get rid of Josh, you know, he's annoying me, because to the point that Chappell made, that's all the more reason for your enemies to want to keep him around. So I do think you kind of have to dress up the sheep in wolf's clothing a little bit and be like, Josh is just so dangerous. We have to get rid of him at this stage. He's going to win all the individual immunities, even though there's a secret scene where he passes out in the middle of camp because he's so malnourished.
He's a part of the Meat Brigade, and he didn't even know it. He did not even know he was in an all-man muscle alliance. He had no clue, and then he was so oblivious to it that they literally didn't even take him in when they had the chance to. Like, we told Carolyn, we basically shunned Carolyn for a whole episode. We got the men together. It's Danny, it's Brandon, it's Josh, it's the big 3. And then Josh comes up to them and is like, actually, what's Carolyn doing? What's she got going on? We don't really need Josh. It's like, what? Why? I thought you had plans for him. No, Just no plans for Carolyn. That's all it was.
Well, so the thing is, like, like we talked about, the messiness in Josh's gameplay was certainly there, but I'm so happy for it. And especially his dynamic with Jam Jam is so damn delicious. I adored specifically the past 2 episodes, every minute these two guys spent with each other, especially in this episode where they did like the meme of SpongeBob and Squidward shaking hands, like really gritting teeth, being like, oh yeah, we're gonna work with each other, leading to like him grabbing Jam Jam's face and being like, we're good, and Jam Jam going like, oh, I thought you were going to kiss me. I'm married.
I'm married.
Not
And,
here.
and Josh said, girl.
Yeah, so good.
Girl.
It is so, listen, I can understand the points that were made about like, oh, we don't have any villains anymore from an editing perspective. But between this and Survivor 43, you can't tell me that we don't have like outright rivals that exist on the show nowadays. Between like Ellie and Gabler and James and Owen and now Jam Jam and Josh, like people get personal on this island, even 44 seasons through. And I am here for it. It was such an incredible dynamic, especially in the middle of that, Jam Jam being like, I just want him gone. I want the gratification, as he like so beautifully said. To have that in the middle of the sandwich of him promising to work with Josh and then him saying, Josh, are you trying to kiss me right now? Are you trying to make out with me in the middle of the jungle?
And like working with him's the last thing that I want to, but like I
And then asking for his idol.
Yeah. I really loved Jam Jam in this episode. I felt like this was the first time where I really felt the separation from him and Carolyn, because they've been operating because their storylines have been so intertwined. So naturally it's going to be one about the other, talking about the other. This is the first time it was like Jam Jam, all about Jam Jam. And it was like him talking about how, look, I need to work really hard. I need to have game conversations. He talks with Matt. He talks with Danny. You get more of his interactions with other people where you get to see, Jam Jam being Jam Jam. And of course, that includes all of those interactions with Josh, and just watching him sort of navigate the situation, having to contemplate working with his arch rival Josh for a second, and then so happy that he doesn't ultimately have to do that. I loved the whole arc of that story.
Is that even a good thing though for Jam Jam? Like your arch rival and you are both at the bottom together. It's like you could at least work together and have 2 votes to go towards someone else.
I don't know, man. Sometimes, especially in emergency situations, like outrunning a cheetah, like you don't have to be the fastest. You have to be faster than one person. And I think it's a very much a matter of like, yes, screw you. Whatever gets me like another day in the game, and that gives me at least a little bit of leeway where like once the other half of the tribe is not safe, maybe people will just forget about little old me. Hey, I got 3 votes against me. Like, nobody's going to want to work with me, and just shrink into the background. This episode was interesting. I'll admit I liked it less than last week, but last week was just like a fun unicorn because there was no there was no tribal council. So it was a little bit of more time to like stretch our legs, get some goofy stuff going on with Tika in particular. What I found interesting is that I don't know about the two of you. I would love to hear your opinions on this. Like, I never didn't think Josh was going. Like, the fact that the strategy came down to, okay, is the secondary going to be Jam or Kane? Like, it operates under the base assumption of, well, the primary votes are always going to be on Josh. It's if Josh plays his idol, the idol we know by a fact he does not have. So it was a little tough to like, when Survivor, especially from the US perspective, loves to build up the like, we're going to surprise people a little bit. Is it A? Is it B? Maybe it's C that pops out. You never know at Tribal Council. And the fact that it was pretty much A the entire time sort of eliminated that intrigue that they usually go for. There were things to look at, in particular, like who was gunning for Jam Jam as opposed to someone like Brandy being like, great, now I can finally get Kane off my back. But I think it was an interesting episode overall in that, again, now we're sort of 2 for 2, I think, in these mergatory episodes of, well, here's this big personal target that at least one person really doesn't like. Okay, we'll just vote them out. Easy vote for the other 12 of us.
So yes, I mean, I even said this, I think, when Puya and I were watching the episode, which was that, it's funny how the narrative is actually who's going to get the second most amount of votes. Like, is it going to be Kane or Jam Jam? Because it's already such a foregone conclusion that Josh is going to be gone. So why do they feel the need to do that? Because obviously then there's no real drama about who's going out, because it just felt like, of course, it's going to be Josh. So what else am I supposed to be getting from this information? Is this supposed to like be foreshadowing of like setting us up for how things are going to go in the future about the way directions and things are going to go? I don't know.
That's my hope, right? Is that maybe this Brandon Kane stuff comes to fruition as like
Mhm.
soon as next episode. I mean, we get the sort of face palmy moment where Carson tells Kane that his name is being floated out there. That's something that could bear fruit. What do you make of it,
Mm.
Chappell?
I don't know. I did like that the show leaned into the suspense of Josh going home, even though we knew Josh was going home, only because for a split, they even like they leaned into it so much that they even did the thing where it's like, if you have an idol right now, play it. And
Oh,
they like
yeah.
zoom in on Josh. What the fuck is he gonna do? What is he? They looked at him, he like reaches down in his bag to do what? To play the fake idol that everyone knows is fake, that he knows everybody. Stop it, Survivor. I laughed at that. I really did, because like, girl, you know, like it was the same energy.
I love, and I'm just so, I'm sure, and we'll find out later on, like, why there was so much suspicion around this fake damn idol, considering Carolyn comes in to this meal and is like, yeah, just so you know, we looked through his bag and there was a bunch of beads in it and they all fell apart. And they're like, but what
Hmm.
if he found a fake idol with the real paper that happened to be there and thought it was a real idol? We were all as incredulous as Carolyn was about the fact that people were trying to make this so much more complicated. She came in with the smallest of molehills and they turned it into Mount Kilimanjaro.
Josh is such a big threat, Mike. He could have found a bunch of idols. You don't even understand, okay?
He typed up that note. It's bad because, you know, you said we were as incredulous as Carolyn, but I want to be very clear. I've never once tried to. I do not want to play Survivor because I would have been worse than her in that moment. I would have flipped over everything. I would have just started knocking shit off the table. Like, I just told you, it's not real. It's not real. Like, they would just throw me out. Take me. Instead. Like, I would have lost it because she's like, y'all, we saw the beads. We saw the note. I saw the note. We already watched this. It's like when you tell somebody such and such played an idol. They're like, did they? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Well, maybe he played the fake idol and kept the real idol. Would he have gone home? Well, maybe. It's like,
Yeah.
no, it's fake. I told you. Carolyn, they don't respect you, girl. And it shows. You need to flip the table. Burn it down. I'm sorry. At some point, it's not worth winning the game. Make a scene, go out with a bang, and then go off on social media and say, I told you so. Because that's what I would have done.
Yeah, Carolyn, pick up that mace that you grew up with and just start smashing the set when people don't listen to you.
I could never be on television because I would have been a mess.
She should have just, in that moment after Josh left, I would just have told you so.
Yeah.
Just stood up and be like, see?
What did I say? What did I say?
I'm sure she was. Like, I just don't, I guess it is like they've never met Carolyn before. And so they're just like, yeah, but maybe it's one big tribe narrative that Josh has a fake idol. So we'll vote for him and then he'll play a real idol and get who we want out instead.
Mhm.
I'd have been insufferable. They would have said, Jeff would have said the thing. If you have a hidden immunity idol right now, play it. And if I was Carolyn, I would have said, girl, and looked him right at him. And then looked at everybody else. Continue, Jeff. Continue. Like, ain't nobody finna play no idol for him, and he ain't got one. So this was a mess. I'm sorry. Justice to Carolyn. She deserved better.
But I think that there's also something to say about everybody else who was discounting her. That's not how you play it, right? Like, that's also bad social game for them. So you're lucky that there's only one person on the outs, but with assuming that that is Carolyn. But otherwise, that's not the way you want to play it. You can't just be like, okay, so I'm hearing the information you're telling me. I'm immediately dismissing this and going with my plan. That's exactly what they did. Instead of
Right
being
in front
like,
of her.
yeah, exactly. Instead of being like, oh, okay, all right, good. So that sounds good that we don't have to worry about it. As a backup plan in case someone else plays an idol, maybe we should just consider it as an option. There's like ways to do it where you're not immediately dismissive of what someone is telling you.
Liana, what are you to expect? The matrices of relationship. It's like you're skiing backwards while juggling chainsaws, but one of your arms is a noodle. And you're also trying to paint the Mona Lisa while singing Ave Maria. It's a difficult thing to do, Survivor.
Okay, well, when you get a vote, you can talk.
What if that's the rule? Well, when you get a vote, you can talk.
You can't contribute to tribal council with your bad metaphors until you can vote, Matt. Shut up.
Is it a sickness? Because we talked about this last time, right? Where it's like, Jeff, cut it out. He doesn't need to do shit in this season. Now you have Heidi being like, it's like you're in an Uber and you're picking people up and they're giving you plans. And Matt's like giving literally an entire kitchen sink of metaphors. And it's like, he can pass everything off to these players now. He slowly has been over the course of 10 seasons or so. They're just doing what he needs to, coming up with the oddest metaphors I've ever heard in my life.
Like if
Right.
you asked AI to generate some metaphors that
Yeah.
they've come up with.
Ryan Ulrich is like flipping over in his grave wherever he is. His
Like,
turtleneck just got
should
up
have
and
been
walked off.
me.
Yeah.
Should have been me. I loved also in that moment when Matt's giving that metaphor, Franny looking over at him, and I was like, because you know when you have your part, not saying they're partners, right? Obviously they're gonna have a road trip after
Hey,
the show and all that,
they
blah blah blah,
held
whatever.
hands in the shelter.
Oh my god, I saw that. Did you
That's
guys
like-
see that when they
That's
held
like
hands?
so-
Oh my
that's like Survivor
God.
third
Flippin'
base.
Cute. Yeah, it's so flipping
Wow.
cute. They're gonna do it.
But okay, so you know that moment when like your friend or your partner is being embarrassing and you kind of like look at them like, oh my God, like just stop talking right now. Just shut up. You're like, you're embarrassing me right now. I thought that was the look on. That could have been me interpreting because I would have been embarrassed if I was Franny, but that's what I thought the look that Franny had on her face.
So is it that thing where like on the car ride back, you're like, why did you look at me? Why did you say that? You think that's gonna be like the shelter conversation between Matt and Franny back there? Like, what the hell was that about skiing and putting a picture together?
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
I've
they're
definitely got
holding
that
hands.
look. I've gotten that look several thousand times where if someone looks at me and I can tell, I can see her wheels turning and it's like,
Yeah.
what? How did I get in this situation?
Oh.
It's not so much like, what are you talking about? It's more like, and I'm stuck with you. Like, how did
Yes,
this happen?
exactly. Yes. Oh, why am I with him?
The great-
Like, oh
Why?
no,
Yeah,
I've
you
made a
People
huge
can build a
mistake.
marriage on that. I am living proof of that. My wife just has that look stuck on her face the entire time of like,
Yeah,
it's not an
permanently.
if, it's a when my foot goes in my mouth at this point. I have a taste for sneaker right now.
The look of love really is what it is. It's like, yeah, I'm staring at you, but I'm disgusted, but also I'm stuck with you and I'm judging myself more than I'm judging you at this point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just a big sigh. Just oh God. Okay.
is
That's
this
what
love?
we're doing.
Is
This
this
is
really love?
Let's talk Matt and Franny for a second, because like obviously we have like quadrupled down. I feel like we are now through 6 episodes. I feel like 4 out of the 6 we have at least gotten like a skosh about the thing between the two of them. I've seen people say like, oh, they are building to Franny betraying Matt. Do we see this happening?
narratively, Franny controls the strategic story.
Because he didn't have a vote until this point.
Yes, but also most of Matt's confessionals are like, I love Franny and she's my weakness. And like we kind of like each other. Like, so to me, that says that they are a pair that eventually gets split up. Franny is a more strategic one, maybe gets targeted first because of that, or Matt gets targeted to weaken her, something like that. I don't think that they turn on each other.
This sounds like RHAP sequester. I'm sorry, never mind.
Oh!
I
Loyal to the soil, baby.
But you know, it's very interesting that Survivor is leaning into this so much. It's like we've had showmances before, but this is the first one that I think Survivor's obsessed with in a very long time. Survivor's like,
Yeah.
every day we need to have you like this cute moment for the Frankenship. Like you have to have the Frankenship corner every episode. I'm thinking, do we get them in a final 3? Would that be weird if it's like they're holding hands at the final 4 fire making tribal council? Like, it's okay, babe. They're like crying in each other's eye. Like, I would fall out onto the floor if that's what Survivor's leaning
imagine
towards.
if they were pitted against each other in Final Four
In
fire.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're crying like Tony and Lucina. Like, oh my God. Like, I don't need that. But also, why are you showing us all of this if one of them's going to get picked off in a week or two? You know, I have to
Yeah.
believe that this is a part of the storyline, or at least we get maybe like a proposal in the final tribal council or a jury speech where like
Now
like,
that would be wild, because at least with Rob and Amber, there were several intervening months between the end of All Stars and the reunion. This would be, I met you 26 days ago.
the Mike Boogie of it all, you know. But yeah,
the pipeline is started. Talk about a ski slope downwards while putting a picture
Mhm.
together.
Oh my God.
yeah, or at least a jury question where you know Blankenship's on the jury and he just stands up like, you all are being too hard on Freddie. She's the love of my life, and you're like, well, we have to give it to her now, you know. Like they're like, she only won because she was in a relationship with Frankenship, you know.
Frankenship.
Matt,
Yeah,
Matt,
Frankenship.
it feels like a personification of the praise hands emoji. Like he is never not smiling in his confessional. He's like, yeah, I don't have a vote, but it's all right. I think I'm going to keep going. Like even when I think it's because he is kind of deadpan with it and kind of has that Labrador Retriever energy. Again, very Eric Reichenbach, which he compared himself to in the preseason. Like, he's like, yeah, I don't have a vote. He just has this smile stuck on his face the entire time, no matter what the situation might be.
I wonder, so in this episode, we got the, oh, I'm not going to take you on a reward from Matt, kind of like jokingly. That's the only thing I could think of that like maybe that's like planting the seeds of his betrayal to her of like, at first I said I wasn't going to take you on a reward and then I voted you out of the game. But I highly think that that is not the case, because if anything, Matt's going to immediately crumble the second he wins the reward and he's going to take Franny first.
No, he's going to give it away to Franny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll be like, no, I'm giving it to you. You can pick. I don't even have to go. Maybe that's what he'll do. He'll pull a Ben and he'll just be like, no, you can go on in the game instead of me.
Take me instead. I'm throwing myself in the fire making because I need you to have immunity. Here's my necklace. Yes.
I mean, listen, if you pull a Chris Underwood to your significant other, you are definitely hinting towards something down under. So.
Oh my God. Underwood.
That's not the only thing I have in common with him.
Oh my God. I still am holding out hope. And I know this is going to sound horrible, but I am. I'm still holding out hope that this isn't the showmance that was alluded to. Like, I'm really
there's
hoping
like another one.
Yeah, because because we had that before, and I believe it was David versus Goliath, right? Where we had the wacky Kara relationship thing, and then we look up and she's with Alec Merlino at the end of the season, and they're getting banned from the finale. It's like, what happens when the season ends and it's Franny and I don't know, somebody else,
Carson.
just Carson,
Oh
yes, the Carson.
Farson
lives, damn it. Farson lives.
Farson sounds like a town of 3 people in Minnesota.
It really does. Well, the only thing though is that Matt did talk about his big long rod, so which first fits with the Underwood thing, but I don't know. We'll see if that makes a difference.
Matt definitely has that energy.
He does have big rod energy.
BD.
Yeah.
Oh, BRE.
BRE. He has BRE. He's got. I think he has BRE. Of just like everyone's like, oh, this like you've got fun energy. Oh. There's a little bit of like, okay, like this is your social game. This is your physical game, and you are surprising in one territory.
Oh, like
Oh, it's physical, man. Okay, yeah. Socially and strategic, you were fine, but physically. Okay.
He is also fine.
All right, let's get to the physical portion of the game. I mean, have you seen his dick, everybody? Have you seen
Wait, Franny does the what is it? Is it the Natalie the question for Parvati? Like, so in the bed, how does your strategy
translate to the bedroom?
To the bedroom. I mean,
just wondering,
we all know you're a flirt. You flirted with me, you know.
Imagine if that was the case, that you're just like loosely alluding to like, so let's say you were in this situation and you had to choose between several of these positions. What would you pick?
Blankenship's like, no. I mean, it is an old standby. Like,
oh my God.
Let me dust off this old chestnut. All right, we have to move on from that. We have to let's get back to Josh, who like for a hot second could have been the second showmance, right? Again, to Chappell's point, it could have been, according to Jam for a split second, he thought that Josh was just, it's gonna be like an enemies to lovers thing, straight out of Bridgerton, like, but I'm betrothed to another, Mr. Wilder. You cannot. But here we are on the Dark Walk. Let's talk about Josh here, because Josh was someone who came in with a wild story to hopefully play a wilder game. I think he was someone who's a little bit all over the map, I believe, preseason, and that like I think it was tough for people to get a pulse on him. Liana, how did you think Josh would do preseason?
Okay, so to put this a little bit of context, he was my purple edit superlative that we had talked about at the beginning of the year. So our season. So for the first 3 episodes. It also was the beginning of the year.
Yeah, you were like, all right, nice.
Yes, exactly. I was like, oh, this is going great. And then he had to go to a tribe that went to tribal council. That was bad. But this is what I came up with for my prediction. So I did say he would make the finale. I said, Josh was a busy bee this season. He found an idol, got an advantage on Shipwheel Island, made strong bonds within his tribe, as well as cross-tribal alliances, but still didn't manage to get much screen time. In fact, everything that Josh does is seen through the lens/keyhole of Claire, his partner in crime. It takes till the end of the season, after the season, to find out that he was a big threat to win, which is why he was taken out before the final four fire making. His ally.
Maybe just what people were saying. He was a threat.
See, he was a threat, guys. He was definitely a threat. We didn't see it, but he was a threat. His ally was Claire, and his enemy was the editors.
Do you ever have an enemy for anybody, Liana? Are you going very abstract?
I'm like,
Enemy
nature.
was the sand.
You're
Yes.
like, all right, I will go sincere for one and jokey for the other one.
The rocks, the machete. I should go back and look.
That way I'm right at least 50% of the time.
Yeah.
Look, Matthew's enemy was definitely the sand because we found out he ripped his shoulder apart digging in the sand. And then I guess his other enemy was the rock that he fell off of. So nature sometimes wins. Liana's got a point.
See?
All right.
Yeah.
So I had Josh making the jury, which he was so close to doing.
So close.
I said,
close.
despite having this incredible backstory of survival, he'll be the most purple member of the cast because he'll commit purely to challenges at Camp Live pre-merge. I said, true to Josh's lack of recall of Davy's name and the Black Widow Brigade. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, I remember he called him Avi.
Yes.
And he referred to, I think he called them like the Sinister Six or something.
Yes.
Or like the Supreme Six when talking about the Black Widow Brigade.
I love them.
He'll have some trouble early on remembering the names of other people on the tribe, just referring to them by descriptors. I guess like Jeff on the mat on the first day. Living up to his pregame promise to eagerly look for idols, he finds Soka's. Well, if you ask Brandon, that's true. Unfortunately, when the merge hits, info about his idol leaks and he goes out with it in his pocket.
Oh. His fake idol was in his pocket.
His closest ally was Danny. His enemy was Jam Jam.
Oh.
And the randomly generated phrase was, I cheated while playing the darts tournament by using a longbow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That would constitute cheating, I believe.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I guess.
It's like an earbud thing where like there's no rule that doesn't say you can't use.
Yeah, so you definitely shouldn't use it. Like it's frowned upon, but in the rules, it's probably like a gray area.
You probably have to use your hands, right? Like it specifies.
Hands?
I don't know
You can
that.
use your hands on the long bow.
Like an intermediary. Like technically you are still using your hands. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like in a way. Yeah.
Yes.
So if I put like a dart on a hot dog bun and throw it, would that be against the rules because my hand isn't touching it? The hot dog bun is?
Well, hot dog buns are explicitly like they're forbidden, like it's in the rules. So you would actually
they
be
are,
breaking the
okay.
rules. Yeah, you have to pay attention to the fine print. Now, I think that's a pretty ridiculous phrase. And I missed the phrases. Am I in the minority on that one? Did I missed the phrases? Because bring me back the phrase for no reason.
Like the thing is, Carolyn is if one of these phrases came to life and played Survivor. So like we're not missing it because like between Gabler last season and like her and Jam Jam this season, they still kind of exist.
And Marianne as well. There's been a few phrase generators in and of themselves. Regardless, maybe Survivor realized that and was just like, we don't need it. We got enough quotes coming out. We don't have to make people be interesting.
Yes. Also, this thought popped into my head that is tangentially related, but is that a fake idol in your pocket or are you happy to see me? That could
Or
be.
are you just Blankenship?
Yeah, exactly. So unrelated, but I thought of it, so I said it. Yeah.
That's like the motto of the B&B. Like, if you think it, just say it.
I thought of it.
No
so
filter exists here. Hashtag no filter.
Was
that related to the predictions? No.
My
Did I say
shirt
it? Yeah.
says wholesome, and we're like on here talking about dick.
Well, the W has been covered up, so it just looks like it says wholesome for most of the time you've been talking.
Look, it's a different kind of wholesome, if you know what I mean.
Both things can be true at the same time.
Well, Chappell, the ball is in your court here, or the dart is in your board. Who do you think was more accurate about what happened with Josh this season?
I mean, both of you were completely off the mark, and so I'm really just gonna have to like figure out a way to parse through this. Like Liana actually had Josh as a purple active player in the game, and that's just not a thing. He was purple until for the last 3 episodes he was a target. So I hear that. Jam Jam being his enemy does kind of, and he almost made the merge. He definitely wasn't at Final Four. It was so much there, but all of it, like, it was like all wrong. It was all wrong. This man had nothing going on that y'all were talking about. He was so interesting in y'all's version of this, and he was here just kind of fighting for his life. I allied with Claire. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like these things.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
You could
it
be
was
right.
between the two of them at that Soka Tribal Council. I don't know if it was by default or them actually going after each other.
Yeah, she just tweeted out the other day, like, I didn't like him on the island, but he's great now.
Well, I don't think anybody liked him on the island.
I mean,
I can tell,
he was the biggest threat strategically
Right, a
and
threat,
socially.
yes, of course.
So because of that, I really I'd love to give you both no points, but I'll give it to Mike because I have to pick someone.
Yes.
I love
That's
that.
fair.
The old like Gabon thing of like, we don't want to vote for any of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're the
Right.
Randy Bailey saying like, all of you can kiss my ass, but I have to give my point to somebody.
I have to give my point to somebody. And yeah, it was just there was no way to even, like you said, it was a weird edit in general, right? So either one of your predictions could have been cool, but it wasn't. There's no way where he was gonna get that. Like, yeah, you predicted that he went home with an idol in his pocket. It was fake, but it was an idol, So
Yeah.
So Mike, you get it, but it's not really like it should be a hollow victory. Like, don't be happy about it.
I think it counts.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take this to my heart. I also realized, I think today while I was just looking at the Wikipedia page, Josh, Carolyn, and Jam Jam were like all around the same age on the same tribe together. You would never think about that looking at the three of them, right?
No.
Okay, Carolyn's 37?
35.
35.
Jam Jam's 36 and Josh was 34.
34. Oh wow. Yeah, I would not have gotten that. I mean, I don't know how old I thought they were. They are in the adult category, like they're Sims. Like they're not teens, they're not elders, they're adults. So, but I didn't like think about their actual adult ages. If that makes sense. Does that make
Anywhere
sense?
between 25 and 42.
Yeah, they're
Well, I was
just
gonna say,
adults.
Liana, so who is in what category for you? I'm really curious.
Carson is a child. That is a child.
Yes. Carson is a teen. Carson is definitely a teen. I would put Franny and Matt Blankenship in the young adult category.
Oh, yeah, because the romance would make the cover of one of those books.
Oh,
yes,
Bella,
exactly.
Jacob. Okay.
I'm sparkling, Bella.
Well,
say it. Say vampire.
I think Jamie is also a teen.
Yes, oddly enough, I agree.
Well, it's because Jamie has giant Disney Channel protagonist energy.
Yeah,
Right? Like, can you not
does.
imagine being like,
He really
I'm
does.
Jamie Lynn, and you're watching the Disney Channel with my
she
magic
literally
wand.
has a magic wand.
Yeah.
Yes, and she's like, "Pring!" That's what she's using to do the whole thing. Yeah. Yes, and everything is from. That's the thing is like when we hear her confessionals, we are looking at it from a everybody point of view. But if this was her true Disney story original movie, we would be seeing things from her point of view and all of this would make sense. She would be the most valuable person. We would be like thinking, oh my God, Jamie Lynn, you know everything there is to know about everything. So yeah, I think that totally fits. I love that.
I adore
Leon,
her.
I have a question. Is Kane an adult?
No.
I didn't think so. That's what I'm saying. I didn't get it from him.
Is it the Dungeons and Dragons thing?
I don't think so.
No, it's
don't
not
think that's what
that.
it
I
is.
think it's like the other people are old and they want to talk about food. It's that like type, like it doesn't have anything to do with the nerd stuff. It has everything to do with the like, I don't want to talk to people. I just want to like play with my toys.
Yeah.
Like you have to assimilate into adulthood. Like you have to at least play the part. Like it's okay to love those things, but like if you're gonna play Survivor, you have to at least play along.
Do you think youths talk about food?
I have no idea. What do youths do?
I work with youths all the time, and they do not talk about food. It does not exist to them.
I feel like to them they treat it as more of a necessity, and maybe that's also like the collegiate atmosphere, right? Of like you pretty much get what's been served to you, and you don't really think about like what's the seasoning on this half warmed over meatballs. But like, yeah, they're not really gourmands. I think that exist nowadays. They have a bunch of other things to think of. So yeah, maybe food is like a primarily adult talking topic.
Like I spent an hour today researching the difference between stainless steel and carbon steel pans, reading reviews for different stainless steel and carbon steel pans, and taking time to plan an order of said pans. Like children and young adults do not do that. Okay. So like that's an adult activity. Okay.
Which pans did you go with?
I sent it to Puya. They're Cuisinart something. I can't remember.
Okay.
Now, the interesting thing is, do you think that's going to translate not to the bedroom, but to like the alliances? Because now that Josh is gone, right? Like, it kind of seems like a semi-open playing field because Ratu and Sokka haven't been to tribal council in so long. Like, we really don't know how things are shaking out. Do you think it, despite the fact that like this cast is kind of homogenous age-wise, that like we may see a breakdown of like Carson and Kane and Franny and Matt and Jamie are all together, and then it's like Jam Jam and Carolyn and Brandon and Danny all together.
Mm-hmm. It's
No.
well, it's just like they could easily just go and vote off Jam Jam next, right? Because he was in the minority on this vote. But this twist, the mergatory twist, it puts people it makes people immune for no reason, right? So yeah, Josh was already the big like had the mergatory not happened, Josh probably would have went home still. But because there were only 6 options, of course he went home. I would have loved to see what happened if he was immune, right? And then they
Yeah.
had the other 6 people, because then I think it'd have been more interesting. Because now that he's gone, yeah, it's an opening. But can Jam Jam exploit that, or do they just go, okay, Jam Jam, you voted wrong last time, let's get you out too? Because why would I vote out Carolyn? Nobody respects her opinion. She says these things. She's just gonna vote wherever we tell her to because she has no choice because we won't vote with her. Let's get out Jam Jam. He seems to have like he seems to be a man. We can respect him. Like and for me, it just really bothers me that Carolyn's right there telling them stuff, and they just look at her and just keep talking like she's not there.
Well,
Like,
it's
dear
interesting. You talk
God.
about the adult kids thing. It's almost like they're regarding her as like a child, right? Like,
Oh yeah, she's on the kids.
honey. Yeah, you
Yeah.
did see that. You did see the leprechaun outside. Yeah, absolutely. Like,
That's
No.
good.
yeah, it's interesting because I actually really like that thought exercise, Chappell. Let's say somehow Carson runs into the one puzzle he didn't end up studying ahead of time, and like the purple group ends up losing here. If it's between Brandon, Carolyn, Carson, Franny, Jamie, and Matt, do we know or get a sense as to who we think would go here? Because what's interesting is Carolyn has an idol. Matt thinks he has an idol. Jamie thinks she has an idol. Carson and Jamie both have these like expired idols, but they could use to feasibly fake as well.
My queen, Jamie, she's gone. She's
Gee,
gone.
yeah.
Yeah, she's gone there.
Is it like another Josh situation where she's like, I know everybody, and everyone's like, no, we know you, and we know we don't want to work with you?
Yeah, but the problem is she's the only like everyone thinks that she has a real idol. Except for one person, the person who planted it. So, while when they do the suspenseful thing, like, oh look, is she gonna play her fake idol? It's like, yeah, she actually is, and she's going home, and everyone is gonna be blindsided except for who planted it, Carolyn?
No, Matthew planted the fake idol.
Matthew, the one
planted
who's
it.
gone.
Yeah, and everybody's gonna be like, how did that happen? It's like, well, was it Matthew? Like, who would have thought?
Yeah, that's gonna be a wild situation where like they're gonna have to legitimately pull her and everyone aside and like say, okay, just so you know, this is what happened, because I think everyone will be legitimately flummoxed because I don't think we've ever had this situation happen before where someone finds a fake idol and the hider of said fake idol was not around to see the aftermath of it. It's an incredibly unique situation that I think if and when it happens will cause absolute calamity to break out, because I think people's worldviews will fundamentally shift within the game after this happens.
I think also looking at that orange group, or purple, whatever color they were, the other people have, I think, better connections, at least based on what we've seen. So I almost feel like it would also be Jamie by default, just because she seems to have had, based on what we know, the least strong connections. I mean, her closest ally on Ratu was Matt. They were Plant Lady and Plant Daddy, and he's gone. So there goes that. It's not like she really integrated well into Sokka, so that's not going to help. So I think it's definitely Jamie by default, which does make me nervous for now that we are at the actual merge. And if they want to look at someone who is an easy target, I think Jamie could be the top of that list.
It's so fun to me though to think that, and Mike made such a good point to me that that does change everybody's worldview on that idol, but all the idols potentially, Liana, because couldn't you see a world where if hers is fake, is mine fake? Is mine fake? And it just didn't tell me? Like, are all the birdcage idols fake?
But also remember, in addition to that, they're purposely are doing with the birdcage idol that the fake for one tribe is the real one for another. So like Danny pulls out his little garish triangular medallion and Brandon's like, wait a minute, that's fake because I have the same one in orange and that one's fake too. So that will again just cause malarkey and shenanigans to happen.
Well, and also, okay, so Jamie's fake idol was made of beads. the Ratu real idol is made of beads.
Right, the one that Matt found was made of beads, yes.
Right. Yeah. So okay. So then that's still wait. Okay. So then then maybe they would think that all the okay, whatever. Look, the whole point is that look, I don't know, and I'm confused.
So wait, who all in the game knows there is a fake idol in the game? Like, who's aware of that?
Okay,
Carolyn
Danny-
knows that.
So everyone in Rat 2 knows that Brandon has a fake idol. They were there when he opened the
right,
birdcage,
yes.
and he said, "Here's your real idol with the beads. Here's your fake idol, which is this big ass necklace." And so
Yes.
they know that the fake idol that Brandon has a fake idol right now. So if he tries to like bluff with it, everyone on Rat 2 has to go along with it. If one person pulls a Carson and leaks it, then it's worthless. Everyone knows it's a fake idol.
Right.
In terms of the Soka side of things, only Danny knows that Matt Blankenship has not only a ginormous member, but a fake idol in his pocket. That there's this idea of, remember, he was the one that hit it. He hasn't told, according to us, anybody about either idol here. Though I think maybe some stuff about like, so Matthew told Claire about like, there's a real idol and a fake idol in the birdcage, if you remember. So like, I wonder if there has to be at some point, right? Like, isn't it suspicious that only one idol was in that birdcage then if Matt Blankenship found it? Like, shouldn't you question a bit? If you're questioning now, oh, Josh probably found the fake idol with the real paper. Are you not asking, wow, there's only one idol in this birdcage? That's a little weird, huh? When there were two in the Rat 2 one?
Matt Big Dick Blankenship found it in the trees, though.
He found the key in the trees. He got it out of the birdcage.
Oh, he found the key in the trees. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Whatever. I don't know. And then Carolyn knows about the fake idols because obviously she found Tika's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
At first, I was annoyed because I was like, everybody has an idol, everybody has a fake idol. It's hard to keep up with it. But I think now that you've oversaturated the game with fake idols and real idols, it's almost back to like the game is back to square one. It's like none of them matter because you have a real idol, but I don't give a damn because I think it's fake. And there's no way you can convince me that it's not fake because I see that I have that same idol and it's fake, but also yours is real. And the person who gave you that fake idol is gone. And then the other person who has one isn't saying anything to anybody. So let's just vote for you. Well, let's split the vote because it might be real. It's like, but it's fake. I guarantee it's fake, but it might not be. It might not be. So let's vote for somebody else. I got one too. You know, I kind of think that in a weird way, it opened the world back up to just some weird possibilities.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, we talked about why have they made this adjustment. Perhaps it's because in 41 through 43, right? Because the idols were so public, people weren't voting for those people because they knew they had idols. And so why would you do that? And now to sort of like produce the same results, but in a different way of, okay, now they're just voting for people because idols don't matter because you don't know if they're real or fake. It's not that they're so public that they become powerless. It's they're so powerless that nobody knows what to do with them. And so they just disregard them entirely.
And then seeing when and how people play them. Like we already saw Sarah not play a fake idol. So then it's going to be curious to see, okay, well, if people start finding out that a lot of these are fake, are we going to see more people play them to like find out if they're real? I don't know.
And what about knowledge is power? Or you're like, Jamie Lynn, can I have your idol? She's like, here, you got me. And Jeff's like, Jamie Lynn, sit down.
Yeah, exactly. Be like, oh, no, it's fine. You can
this is not knowledge is not power. Have a seat.
Yeah. I mean, is Jeff going to have to become the tribal council price checker? Where like they're going to have to be like, Jeff, is this a real idol? Can you
have to hold it to the light?
The Antiques Roadshow of Survivors. Like, this is worth $0. This is a fake.
I'm just imagining like a queue forming of everyone being like, all right, I guess if Matt's going to check his, I guess I'll check mine just to make sure.
Can you validate this? I guess. Like,
oh my God. I before we get into the game, I have one more thing that I want to show. And this is a bit miscellaneous, but I am so obsessed with it. Let me see if I can find this. Did you all see the opening moment of the episode?
I assume that I did.
Well, so this is the first few seconds of the episode. It's such a small moment, but I think it is genius. Let me see if I can play this for you. So what I love about it is, so it's a static shot of the boat, right? And like Carolyn is singing, assumingly, I don't know if she's like doing some sort of Gregorian chant, like she's genuflecting to the altar of Survivor, but she's not on screen. So what I adore about it is that it seems like, from my perspective, Carolyn is the voice of the boat in this odd Pixar movie. And the best part is, you'll see this, when the wave hits the boat, she goes, "Whoa!" So it really does seem like this Carolyn boat is like just humming doo-dah ditty, hanging out by the shore, and then she gets besieged by a wave and it causes her to lose her cool. Try to watch it again from that perspective. See if it works better.
Okay.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh!
Maybe she's in the boat and we can't see her. Like she's laying there.
Yeah, she's laying in
like,
it.
Topples over.
That's the thing. She did say she did an interview with Dalton Ross this week, and she did say that like because of Jam Jam storing, she sometimes slept on the boat, which is even better for like their on-island marriage, right? That's like I slept on the couch because his snoring kept me up at night. So maybe she was lying in the boat and she actually was singing to herself, and just the wave hit her, and she went, "Oh my god!"
Oh my gosh! Now we need to go back and see if there's any sign of Carolyn. If
All
I
right,
can
hold on,
see her
one
in
more
the
time.
boat.
Oh my gosh.
She's definitely
No,
in the boat.
I don't see her.
No, she's in the boat. I refuse to believe anything else because it's just, she's in the boat.
I want her to have a residency at like the Metropolitan Opera House with that beautiful voice.
Does she have to be in the boat in the opera house?
Yes,
Like-
she has to be the woman in the boat. It has to be an aquatic-based opera, no matter what. There has to be a reason to have a boat on stage for the entire 5-hour aria.
Yeah.
It fits.
All right, well, let's get to our game this week. Now, look, there has been a big to-do this past episode about whether or not Survivor should keep reusing puzzles. Due to what Carson was able to do in the last minute, really pull ahead with his group and win due to the fact that he practiced that exact puzzle at home, put in like a record amount of time on any puzzle in Survivor history. It's been hotly contested. Should Survivor keep using these puzzles to give contestants essentially the ability to build them, practice them at home, so that when they come onto the show, they can face it, they can take care of it? Before we even get into the game, I feel like we'd be remiss not to debate this amongst ourselves. Liana, where do you stand on this? Should Survivor nix the previous puzzles and start over from scratch to disadvantage those that are practicing ahead of time? Or should they instead incentivize people to keep practicing these things ahead of time?
Okay, so fundamentally, you can prepare for all aspects of Survivor. You can work out to get stronger. You can practice your social game, I guess.
They read books.
Somehow. Yeah.
Well,
you
if
can,
you remember, Kane told his girlfriend he was going to lie to her for 2 weeks and to see if she had any
Exactly.
tells.
Exactly. See, so he can do that. You can read the when you cross your arms, body language kind of books that totally are beneficial and work.
I love that the body language book Carson read is called When You Cross Your Arms.
When you cross your arms and stuff. Yeah. So like, okay, fundamentally preparing for Survivor is a thing that happens. It is encouraged. Super fans do it, watching old versions of the show or old seasons of the show, figuring out what works, what doesn't work. So like fundamentally, how is this different, right? You're preparing for something that the show is going to test you on, and you can prepare in a lot of different ways. The reason why I personally am so bothered by it is because it's such an not easy thing to prepare for, but an exact thing to prepare for. When you are preparing your social game, you have no idea the types of people that you're going to interact with. You have no idea what they're going to be like when it comes to reading them, to bonding with them, to creating alliances with them. You know basically what it's going to look like, but you don't know how to deal with that specific person. And I feel the exact same way about the puzzles. You know there's going to be challenges on Survivor. You know there's going to be puzzles on Survivor. But to know the exact ones in a way that you can literally replicate that exact puzzle and do it, that I think is flawed. So that's why specifically for the puzzles, like it's frustrating when you can just make the argument that like, well, overall you're preparing. No. It's so specific. It's so narrow, which gives you such an advantage.
I hear you, but I think it's because I'm a Carson apologist and super fan and stan and all those things that I'm a little bit more lenient on this thing, because I agree with your first point. You can prepare for all aspects of Survivor in different ways. People were talking about whether it was an accessibility issue, right? Like everybody doesn't have access to a 3D printer. Well, I'd argue that, Dreams was homeless when he came on Survivor. Everybody doesn't have access to a swimming pool. Everybody doesn't have access to a
Right.
beach.
Mhm.
So like everybody's not going to be a woodsman. There are things that people have that and or don't have access. Yeah, everybody's not
Oh,
going to be blanket dick.
woodsman.
Yeah, but people have different skills and accessibility to different things at different levels.
Mhm.
Some people go out and pay for a personal trainer for, to get them in shape for Survivor, a dietitian so that they can eat. So I do understand that. And I agree with you. To be able to prepare for something so specifically, it is kind of like, okay, how many times are we going to do that? And I think that's where I draw the line. It's like, are we doing this every season? Like, I don't
Mhm.
mind the fact that they can practice these old puzzles and maybe a new puzzle, like an old puzzle will resurface. But I do
Mhm.
mind that it's always the same puzzle. Like throw a different
Yes.
one in there every now and then, because for me it's no different than practicing for fire making. I live in the middle of the city. I can't go
Mhm.
out to the rainforest or something like that, and a wet marsh or something like that and do fire making. Like, I live in a city.
Mhm.
But some people do. Some people, I went out and I practice fire every day in the backyard. I don't have a backyard. I live in an apartment. So like for
Mhm.
me, those things are different. But if you're gonna do a puzzle, change the puzzle. You've had 40 seasons of this show. There's no reason why you should be using the 44 at this point, 43, whatever. There's no reason why you should be using the same exact puzzle like 7, 8 times in a row. Like, you should by now go back to the first season. If you want to do a puzzle, make sure they went back and watched Borneo and see if they can do that shit. I just feel like there's a limit, and the limit is at that complete repetition of that same one, because
Right.
we've seen Christian Hubicki do a slide puzzle in 3 seconds. That's what I'm saying. You can prepare in different ways, but he shouldn't know the exact slide puzzle every time.
Right.
So yeah, know the algorithm, but don't know the actual puzzle.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing, because at least it's a slide puzzle, but it's a different picture, at least, right? So if you're
Yeah.
gonna do like the bonsai tree, okay, fine, but just do different
A
pieces.
different shape of
That's
tree.
that's the
Yes.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's even less so to me about like, oh, is it fair if it's advantaging certain contestants who have access to resources? I mean, Liana, I feel like that's a very big Drag Race argument, right? It's like, oh, the queens who have more resources, the fact that they're producing these looks, does that give them an inherent advantage? For me, it's just like, as a TV viewer,
Mm.
getting to see the tree puzzle for like the 6th or 7th season in a row just gets boring. It just gets boring. How many times are we gonna get a different result? Like, either they do well or they don't do well. There's no inherently entertaining element from my perspective. This was at least mildly interesting because it's Carson being like, oh my God, this is the one I printed. It's all happening. Slumdog Millionaire, here I come. Even though I don't get that reference because I was probably like 4 years old when that movie came out.
He was 3.
But this idea of like, yeah, it's interesting enough to me when like you said, you could study the skills and it applies to like at least puzzles that make things more interesting for the audience. And I say that applies to all challenges as well. Like, we don't need to see hold the ball above your head with the paddle. Like, there might be interesting things going on with the contestants, but by and large, I feel like we have seen every possible permutation than we can. That's why one of the many reasons why I'm largely against Final Four fire making is because it's like, we've been through the motions. Outside of Franny and Matt having to compete against each other, I feel like
Hand in
we've
hand.
seen, yeah, I feel like we've had to see everything
trying.
that's been seen about the Final Four fire making, and so it doesn't become interesting to me when we keep doing it again and again. That's how I generally feel about these puzzles. It's less so to me about, okay, should contestants have the ability to have like an open access to the archives essentially and be able to do this. It's just more so to me of like, are you creating an entertaining product by doing this? And to me, the returns are really diminishing as of late.
Can you imagine how excited Carson must have been though in that moment?
I'd have
Like,
pissed
to
myself.
see, oh my God, I would have been so ecstatic.
Aesthetic.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I would have been so aesthetic in that moment. Oh my God, I love the vibe. I just like I could feel I'm excited now just thinking about what he must have thought when it's like, oh my God, the thing I've been training for. Like, I can do this. I know I can do this. I can get us the win. Like, oh, that adrenaline must have
All
felt
we
so
have
good.
to do is just get on one of Matt Blankenship's giant testicles to this finish line in
We'll roll
enough
on up
time
there.
for me to come through and just absolutely blitz my way through this puzzle.
Wait, are the Balls and Johnson both large? Because I just assume he had blanket like you got giant testicles as well.
Well, I
You
think
know?
you're just saying they're proportional. Like you're
Oh,
not saying
okay.
that they're particularly meaty clackers, but
Because
they're like
Right. Well,
I
why
could
wasn't he in the Big Meaty Men Slapping Meat Alliance? You know, when they were naming people, they said, the Meat Brigade is Josh and
oh.
Brandon and Danny. No Blankenship?
no,
And he's
because
the meatiest of them all?
it only applies to the upper body, like they're not
Oh.
necessarily, ironically enough, thinking about what's downstairs.
Well, that seems like short-sighted because I feel like you could
Well, oh
then
yeah.
form the alliance. Maybe you shuffle the alliance at that point. You say, well,
Listen,
let's do a different hemisphere, and then you have Carson might be in the mix. Who knows?
if you have a good house and the basement is like a little unfinished but like has some good storage space, like don't lose the offer on the house.
I
There's room to remodel upstairs.
Yeah, you definitely need a good foundation to lay this stuff on. You gotta have the pipe has to be laid as well.
Well, that's what they say. Never skip a leg day. Peen day.
Never skip peen day, that's sure.
Never skip third leg day. It's a
Yeah.
leg.
Exactly.
All right, I'm just waiting until that shirt inevitably pops up somewhere on the internet. Let's get
I'm gonna buy
into
it.
our game today.
So
So
hard.
this was actually this was sent in. I got to give all the credit to Scott Schupak, who DM'd me with this idea that we are going to do a version of The Price is Work, of course, our Price is Right bidding game, but we
Mhm.
are going to do it with Survivor puzzle replicas that you can buy off of Etsy.
Oh, how
Ooh.
fun. Okay.
Yeah,
This
so the
one, I
fact
like
of the
this.
matter is, listen, from what Jeff said, he really likes that people practice these puzzles ahead of time. So it seems like no matter how you feel about them, they're here to stay. So, hell, this might actually be the rare game that is actually useful to someone's life, that if they're a future Survivor player, they might be able to scope out the prices of these ahead of time and if they're affordable.
Okay. All right. Good. I'm curious to know.
Yeah, so basically how this is going to work is I'm going to give a replica of a Survivor puzzle that was listed on Etsy. You're
Mhm.
each going to give the price. Whoever goes the closest without going over will
Mhm.
then get the point, and then we'll move on from there. I've also attributed each item to the name of the lister, the person who created the puzzle out there. Again, in case you saw this and you're like, actually, I do have a couple bucks to spare and a fire in my eye to become a Survivor player in the future. Let me throw some change their way. Please do support independent artists as much as you
Mhm.
can.
Mike,
Okay.
before we start this game, I just want to say that of all the things I want to leave behind, I never want to hear anybody's backstory with a 3D printer again. Like I'm happy. I want us to give that to Carson and just let him
Mhm.
have it. Next
Mhm.
season, I don't need 5 people saying, I got my 3D printer. And this is why we did it already. We've done it.
Chappell,
It's fine.
I'm so sorry. You cannot put that toothpaste back in the tube, dude.
Look, do
It's
it.
happening.
Do
It's
the 3D
happening.
printing by all means. But with segments, that's Carson's superpower. Again, I'm a stan.
Mm.
Give him what he deserves.
100%.
Jeff
Yeah.
loves it though, so
Ugh.
Yeah, and I
We're gonna
give
see
it
more of
major
it.
ups to Carson. Like, this is a good episode for Carson. I love the
Yeah.
shot of him talking about how much he wanted chaos and the fire was reflecting in his glasses. It was very fun.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
Kind of is like the Louise Belcher of Survivor 44, and I
Mm.
kind of love it.
Queen. Yes.
All right, so let's go with our first item here. And look what it is.
Oh wow.
In
I
case
think
you-
I've seen this before.
In case you want to be your own Carson and get a tree puzzle, you don't have to print one. You can get one from Etsy. The listing is called officially Survivor Puzzle Replica dash Large Tree Puzzle Withstand dash Survivor Party Challenge. This is from Vexel Puzzles. Vexel will actually be the source of a lot of our puzzles today. So you can ask some questions if you want to about like the general quality, size of it, etc. before you make your pick.
This has less pieces. Like there's less tree pieces than I thought there were based on watching it on TV. Like that bottom, that's only 3 different pieces, right? Like the bottom left.
Yeah, is this an exact replica
Yeah,
or
is
is this
this
just
a-
like a
Like a
I
miniature.
feel like it has to be, right?
See-
Because like I feel like they have to. I feel like they go off of what the show does. But
See,
maybe they've added more and more
I don't
pieces.
know.
Maybe that's how they get them, is like they decide to add more and more pieces onto it with every time they do it.
Maybe.
maybe I'm with Liana. I thought there was more involved with it. And now I'm thinking, maybe this is not like it's a replica, but not like an exact replica. It's just like, hey, like you get the gist of it, right? Like it's a puzzle, but it's not, to scale. I don't know. It just for me, I was expecting more. Because I'm not gonna lie, I think I'd do this puzzle one time and I could replicate it forever. You know, like it's not a lot of pieces. You
That's
know, so
what I'm
it's like,
saying.
you're
Well,
like,
no wonder Carson flew through it though, maybe. Like
yeah, it's
it
like,
is only this number of pieces. But there's some
yeah.
pretty obvious piece shapes. You know what I'm saying? Like there's the little dinosaur, and then there's like the upside down dinosaur.
There's a lot of dinosaurs. I don't know
Yeah.
where there isn't a dinosaur here,
There's some
personally.
clouds, Mike. There's a
Yeah.
cloud and there's a dinosaur in the cloud. And there's a cloud dinosaur.
Yeah.
And the dinosaur chicken nugget, that one. You see it? That's the one.
Oh, I do see the dinosaur
Yes.
chicken nugget.
Yes.
Oh my god, I could go for some nuggies. Okay, so wait, so this is made out of wood? No.
It's made out of wood.
Okay, so that
Near,
definitely
nearly
raises the
nearly all
price.
of these are going to be made out of wood. I will say just ahead
Okay.
of time.
Okay, because the 3D printed stuff I think is a little bit cheaper than the things that are like lasered out of wood, as far as I know of ordering stuff from Etsy.
To quote a lovely ventriloquist dummy from a hit 90s sitcom, it is made out of wood. So, Liana, your guess, how much do you think this tree puzzle is worth?
Okay, I'm trying to remember from stuff I've bought from Etsy. I'm gonna guess $45.
$45. Liana's already looking ahead. Chappell, what about you?
It's tough because I wouldn't pay $45 for that. But I also know that there's probably like craftsmanship wise, it's probably worth $45. But I personally wouldn't pay. Like the stand gives me okay, I would pay $45 for it, but the actual puzzle itself, I'm like, you know. So might you have to pick a price, or can I just go cheaper than Liana? Let's go $1.
You say $44?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But then I
no,
went
$1.
over it.
Yeah, no,
$1.
you're right. You know
There we
right.
go.
You know
Chappelle trying to cheap out Liana. It is a tactic that in this case will backfire.
Boo!
66.84 for
Oh,
the tree
wow.
puzzle.
Yeah,
Okay.
the stand is really cool. I like that the bottom part. You know,
Yeah.
that's dope. So that's why I was like, that gives me, but it's just the puzzle in general. It's just kind of like I said, I was
Is it the
expecting more.
color? Is it the color, Chappelle, that makes it feel like
because
cheap?
maybe because it looks like a toy. You know, like I said, when you can see the craftsmanship in the wood, you're like, oh yeah, that's a nice sturdy base. But then you look at the top part, it's like it could be plastic. I know it's wood, but it could be plastic. You know the way it looks.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
It threw me off.
Okay.
Good job,
Well,
Liana.
Despite the pieces being made of dinosaurs, this is not going extinct anytime soon, it seems, according to Jeff Probst. Let's move on to our next puzzle here. Who needs to be like Matthew and build a snake puzzle in
Wait,
your
how
garage?
big is this? I need
Is
to
this
know
exact size?
dimensions.
Is this exact size?
So this is exact size. Let me see if I can get you the dimensions
Liana.
here.
Oh my god, this must
I
be
need it.
expensive.
I need it.
Okay.
You want it?
It is.
Yes.
Oh, actually, okay. So it's not that. So it is.
Whoa.
Oh,
It's
never mind.
According to again, this is from Vexel Puzzles. It says this is
Okay.
a tabletop version of the Snake and Balls challenge from many, which is a nickname for Matt Blankenship, for many years of Survivor, including Winners at War.
We have sexually harassed that man for at
I
least
know,
an
I feel
hour.
so bad because again, he's the person who least deserves it. He's a golden retriever.
love
It
you,
is
Matt Blankenship.
17 inches tall and 12 inches wide.
like Matt Blankenship.
I'm sorry. Is the challenge actually called the Snake and Balls? Like, is it called the Snake and Balls? Is that a real name?
I really
hope
hope it is. I mean, we
really
knew
hope.
like Jeff's horny period, right? When he was really into the innuendos and the challenges.
Snake and balls. Well, that's gonna affect my pricing here.
Exactly. People are gonna. I mean, listen. What's in a name?
Right. Look, if the tree puzzle was roughly $67, I'd have to imagine that this is more, but it's also a tabletop version. So I'm really not quite sure, like Connect 4 size tabletop. You know what I'm saying? Or like bar connects 4 size tabletop. You know, because like in a bar you got the big ass games, but like at your house, you know, could you put this in a box basically, like, like a board game? Damn, it's got to be more expensive than the tree. So,
all right, Chappelle, I'll give you first guess here. Yeah.
More expensive than the tree. $80.
All right, $80. Liana, what's your price?
Okay, first, how do I save a tweet in my drafts? I'm saving this for next year. How do I
what do you
save a
mean?
tweet? Can I have a tweet ready for the next time I see the Snake and Balls puzzle.
Yeah, I don't think you could do it on mobile. Thanks,
okay.
You do it on
Elon.
from the computer.
Okay, I'll figure that out later. All right. So what'd you say, Chappelle? $80?
Yeah, because for me, it's got to be more than the tree, right?
I think it's definitely more than the tree. This is tabletop. That looked very small based on the hand size that modeled with the picture. So I'm going to say it is $81.
But okay, Mike, before you
Wow, very
reveal,
very Carolyn of you. 91.
$81.
before you
Wait,
reveal the
say 80,
answer.
81, is that your answer?
No, I thought
81.
she's 81. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, before you reveal though, I know they said it's tabletop size, but what is this background? Did they make like a little diorama and put it inside of a
Eh,
shoebox?
It
You know,
might be like a forced perspective thing, like how they made the hobbits in Lord of the Rings.
yeah, 'cause, like it's huge. I mean, it's next to trees, or did somebody just put this inside of a ficus?
Or is
I-
it just photoshopped?
It could be photoshopped. I'm not sure, but Liana, as always in Survivor, you should have gone with your gut. $94.46.
He still beat me, but
Oh,
yeah,
actually,
that's
no,
a
you
good
do
deal.
win.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she-
Whew.
But I was
she
gonna say-
81
I
to me.
I was like, did I screw up this strategy?
No, but you were so close to it.
Oh,
I
I should've
held
got
my
90,
breath when you
yeah.
said 91.
I actually was
Yeah.
gonna say 95, so I'm actually really happy that I
Ooh,
didn't. So
Dang.
okay. Whew.
No, that's a good guess, Liana. I mean, imagine paying $100 for a board game. I mean, like a tabletop game. So, but I
Yeah,
think if you're using
expensive.
it as a investment to play Survivor, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, let's go for some package deals here.
Ooh.
Survivor Puzzle Replica. Set of table maze puzzles. Survivor 43. So if I recall correctly, this was from the opening immunity challenge in the Survivor 43 premiere where it's like, oh, the first tribe to get to their table maze gets to determine which one they want to do. And the three choices were like the labyrinth versus the straight shot down versus the like little more bumpy sort of navigated around the blocks one. So this is all three together. It's a bundle, baby. Liana, how much do you think this is worth?
What is the size? Did you say that already?
Oh no, I
I mean,
haven't. Let
smaller
me
than a candle.
look at the candle.
think-
Unless again,
It
this
could be
is
a
the Hobbit.
giant candle.
It could be a giant candle and a huge table. Liana, do you think these puzzles actually help you prepare for Survivor because they're so small that and these are normally like 2-person puzzles? Does this even help, or is it just like for fun?
If the maze is exactly the same,
Oh, that's
like the
interesting.
maze is exactly the same, then at least you know how to solve the maze.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. But in terms of like the straight shot one, I mean, I can't imagine that's going to be very different when you're like holding it with two people versus
Yeah, with a
like
giant heavy ball versus like you probably are plunking these
Like-
marbles like into your windows.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the diameter of the little teeny tiny marbles? Like marble size, like tiny marble size?
No. So this is I believe they said 20 inches long, roughly each one of them.
The blanket ship. Let's see.
Okay, hold on. Wait, what's 20 inches?
12, 1 foot 8 inches.
Oh, okay.
Oh, those are kind of big.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay,
Like,
let's see.
hmm.
Plus 8 inches. So that's like this big. Okay, yeah, but it's still okay. So it's not this, but it's this.
Yeah.
Which is not this with like two people.
Right.
Okay, but that's not important right now. So okay, I'm setting the price, and the last one, which was this big, but it was only one, was $95. So it's gonna be more expensive for sure. So I'm gonna say $169.
Nice.
Nice.
169 for Liana. Chappell, what are you thinking?
I feel like it's less than that. I mean, I know it's 3 pieces, but it's not that big.
Here's a ruler for size.
Yeah,
This
but
is
That's
a
what rulers
foot.
are often for. Yes.
here's a ruler for like punishment, you know. Yeah, I just don't. God, maybe it's because I'm such a cheap ass that I'm like, what 70?
You're trying to manifest
Okay,
That's
remember, you don't have to buy it. Okay, like you're just setting the price. Okay, you're not. It's not like some bidding war where like you're like
It is a bidding war.
I can't go above 100.
I can't. I literally can't. I have to go with $1 here, Mike. I'm sorry. I can't go.
All right. Well, Chappelle, your frugality screws you once again.
Oh.
$239.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah,
How many
$240 for that. That's about 80 a piece for each of these mazes when you work it out.
Which I guess if the other one was 90, right? That math kind of checks out.
It's a steal if you get it from that perspective.
Yeah, and the craftsmanship is
bargain.
uncanny. Like this is all wood, so it's nice
Mhm.
craftsmanship, you know. So I'm not taking anything away from the seller. I think that these are like if you put that much effort or that much like look at it, it's very polished. If you
Mhm.
have something like that, you should be charging $239 for it. I personally would not pay $239 for it, but I think that again, if you think it would help you on Survivor, go for it. It
Mhm.
just feels like it's too small to actually assist you. It's more like a cool thing, and cool things are nice to have too, you know. So $240 sounds about right.
I think I could solve the maze from the picture too. Now that we're saying it out loud. I don't know
Oh,
why I
don't
thought
even
I
need to buy
needed
it. I
it.
solved the maze.
Like, how do mazes work in picture books? Like, you just a picture.
Liana, how do you get to the bottom of the maze? Oh, okay, I see. Okay, you come out on the side. Okay, gotcha. I was like, how do you
Yeah.
get in there? But it's at the top, and you go. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you got to go around. That's why there's the ones like the gaps on the side where you can see those holes. Like, you know, you're going to have to go past those. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, gotcha.
It's just like
Okay.
Survivor. There's always dangerous holes you have to navigate around. All right,
Yeah.
wholesome. Next up here, let's go Samotion. So maybe this will help a little bit more than practicing
That
for the table
metal?
maze. This is Samotion. This is the infamous challenge where the balls are swirling around the tracks and you have to pick them up with one hand and deposit them and make sure you don't drop any. So this is a fairly small size, as you see, compared to this leaf. Let me just get the dimensions really quickly. Well, we do have metal involved, I believe, for the first
is
time in these
metal.
listings.
Is it metal or is it 3D printed?
It looks like shiny 3D printed.
Oh no,
I'm
you're
not
right.
gonna lie
It's
to you.
shiny. It's shiny 3D printed.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Well, no,
'Cause
the
you-
challenge. This challenge is 3D printed in silver with a stained wood base. I don't know if it's silver the metal or silver the color.
So it's over the paint.
Yeah, it's solid silver.
I don't know if that's hinting
They
towards
3D
the price.
printed it out of solid silver.
It
I
weighs 15
need my
pounds.
3D printer. Like, it has to heat up the metal like crazy. I think it's just the color of the plastic.
Metallurgy going on into the 3D printer.
I smithed
Oh,
it
that's
myself in my
nice.
forge.
It's actually really weird to see it without the cage. You know, like
Yes.
without being able to see through it. That
Yeah.
feels so. It looked like something totally different. I thought this was a coffee maker or something at first.
That's a good point. Why can't and I'm not questioning Vexel, and they seem like they do good work. But does it have the same desired effect if you can't see it?
I guess
I
you
think you
can
can
if
see
you have
the
the
timing.
well, you also have more of a top-down perspective from this one, right? Because you are looking down upon it.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, I like the craftsmanship. Obviously, it looks really nice, but I feel like it loses the character of the thing because it's the fact that you have to look through it and watch the ball do all the things. Whereas like kind of just looking down on this thing. I
Well,
don't know.
Chappell, you may not like it, but you have to make a price for it. How much do you think Samotion is worth here?
That wood base is solid though. Okay.
It has a name on it.
It does have a name.
if
That
only
counts for something.
If only the puzzle had snakes and balls at the bottom of it.
Snake and balls.
Would I pay more for this than the snake and balls? That's the question.
That is the question.
I don't think I would. I don't think I pay more for this than any of the other ones. Yeah, maybe. Shit, I'm so cheap. Like dear God, I would say, $100.
100 even. Liana, what are you thinking? Remember, it is silver.
It is
Okay.
painted silver.
It is. How tall is it?
Let me see
tiny.
if I have that information.
Because I'm just trying to do the math of like how much I think the plastic would cost. Just
I
like the
I do not
pure-
have that information.
Mike, but I have a ruler. Okay.
Is that for measuring though?
It's for discipline.
No. Okay, so I bought Puya something that was 3D printed and it was very small and it was like $20. So based on that, I think it is more expensive than $100. So I'm gonna say 101 Dalmatians.
Well, woof woof to the dog pound. You got this one. Squeaked in.
Yes!
158.89.
Hooray!
All that silver in it.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a
Yeah. Well, I mean,
lot.
if it's silver, that's a steal.
It's a steal.
Well, for our next one, we know
I'm a
that
child.
Josh likes to cheat at darts using a longbow. But what if you could turn that into a survivor challenge? This is a replica of a little challenge called Bo Diddley. You may
That
not
challenge is
remember
not
this.
called that.
Yes, it is. It is
No,
called
it's not.
Bo Diddley.
Nope.
This is the one where you hold a bow with a ball on it and you
Yes.
try
And
to
you
keep
diddly
it
it.
balanced.
Mhm.
And you try to
see,
diddle it.
this challenge, Mike, actually looks like it help you. It can help you.
Yes.
Like this one looks like you prepare for the exact thing. This is the Carson puzzle again. This is the one.
This is to scale, right?
Yes.
This is to
Yes.
scale. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So,
All
Liana,
right.
that being said, how much do you think it costs?
Okay, so I'm gonna set the price. So here's the thing: is like it looks just like 2 pieces of wood. So I think although it is larger, I think because it is less intricate, I am going to go with $75.
75. Chappell, what are you thinking?
Again, I'm a cheap ass. And I feel like all these tabletop thingies could be more expensive than I just can't see them being more expensive than this. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, I'm just gonna go $76.
So Chappell
Because
goes a little more
yeah,
expensive. And in doing so, he is on the board.
yes.
But y'all way undershot with Bo
Yeah.
Diddley here.
Oh my god, it's
No.
double.
I saw that
$153.
coming, but I just wanted to be safe and just go because I was like, "There's that thing is." I mean, it's look at the craftsmanship; it's nice.
Yeah. Hefty size too. It is 31 inches long and 10 inches wide.
Nice.
Nice.
But yeah, I do agree that like this does feel like something you could feasibly practice. And it's interesting
Yeah.
that like we have up to this point, these have all been puzzles or like more
Mhm.
skill-based dexterous stuff with some motion. This is like an actual more of what we expect from like a modern day quote unquote survivor endurance challenge, where usually they're like standing on a balance beam trying to do this.
Do you think when they hand you, you have time to like carve like a rut in the top of it? Like if you're on Survivor.
What if you have like a what how, you can
Like
you
a-
whittle? Do you have 5
like
minutes to
a-
whittle?
like a rock. Like you like you like
Or your,
saw a
what,
little
your teeth?
Oh, no, not that. No, a rock. Like you bring a rock and then it's made out of wood, and then you get there and then you like turn your back real quick while Jeff's not looking. You go, zzz, 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 and
Yeah,
then you
I
make a
don't
little...
think they're gonna allow you to bash in challenge props while you get ready. I think you'd be disqualified right there, right then.
Got it. Okay, noted.
That's called property destruction.
Okay, well, good. Tomato, tomato.
All right, next up. All right, so this is something interesting. This requires a bit of explanation. So this is, and I'm reading it as it reads, Survivo Replica Fire Making Challenge. So what this is that it is a fire making station, and I'll read the listing here from what Vexel Puzzles is saying.
Survivo.
The fire making challenge is a staple of modern Survivor. Love it or hate it, many players win or lose Survivor based on how they perform at fire making. This item is a replica of the flag apparatus. It is as close to exact size as I can make it. It includes the 2 arms with clamps attached to a standard 12 by 12 by 2 concrete paver, which are $2 from Home Depot or Lowe's and readily available, but too heavy to ship portably. You will also need twine, parentheses also readily available, wood, tinder, flint, and a 12-inch hunting knife. If you are having trouble finding any of the items, message me and I can help you find them. That's very nice. But they're like, hey, I don't know where I can find flint. Please help me.
The 12-inch hunting.
Guy.
Oh, the 12-inch hunting knife is for the flint part with the fire making. I was like, that's a very specific requirement to put this together.
It's for stabbing.
Nah, I'm
so
with Liana. I had no clue what the knife was for. So
is it reusable?
I mean, yeah, because basically, so ignore the fire. The fire was just an effect that was put in.
I cannot ignore that clip art.
Does it come with the fire?
Nope.
The clip art.
Yeah,
does it come with the clip art?
It does not come with clip art, no, as many things in this world do not. Basically, it's the stand, and you essentially assemble it, you put the twine up, and this is actually made to, like, build your own fire on it. So then the string breaks, the flag raises, and you've won your own fire-making challenge at home.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Okay. This is like, no. I mean, they even said something was $2, right? The little like clammy clamps, they're $2. So $2, $4. The slab there is maybe $20.
What's it made out of? The slab. Is that wood?
Stone.
Can you do a
brick?
wood fire making challenge station? Wouldn't it
Oh my
just
god, not
burn?
made out of wood.
I think you could lacquer it in something that doesn't burn, I assume.
I mean, it does look like wood. It's probably stone. Stone's
Okay,
expensive.
yeah, so it's gonna be heavy. So okay, wait, am I setting the cost?
No,
No, I think it's
Chappell is.
me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is interesting because again, this is something that I don't think you would necessarily need per se to practice for Survivor, because if you can just make a fire, you can make a fire. I don't think putting on that little stone base is going to change anything.
Yeah, to answer your question, this was the first time they were talking about, right? That's the concrete paver is the stone that you're building it off
Yeah.
of. That's the thing they say is $2 at Home Depot or Lowe's.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. This just doesn't feel like it's that expensive. Like it feels like the value of it would be more expensive than the actual, like craftsmanship. I mean, it doesn't look like you made anything. They just kind of assembled some pieces. $50?
$50. Okay, Liana?
I was gonna say 40, so
do
I
it.
will say 40.
Okay, Liana says 40. Chappell has 50. I will remind you, the price for Bo Diddley was $152.99.
But that was huge and wooden and made out
yeah,
like with love.
Yeah.
This
it
is the
doesn't
exact
even-
same price.
What? It doesn't even come with twine.
Where's the twine? Twine not included.
Yeah,
no, flint not included.
Flint not included. 12-inch hunting knife not included.
What are we getting here, baby? Vexel, I was with you until now.
You could just tie a string like up, or just use a ruler. It's for measuring.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, I'm not sure entirely. I agree that with no judgment, 2 Vexel puzzles, this does seem a bit much for 2 pieces of metal and a branded flag.
Really expensive. If it
Yeah.
came with the clip art, I got it. But
Right.
as is,
yeah, and because this is like a Survival replica, like maybe that's what raises the price. Like maybe a Survivor replica would have been cheaper, but Survival was
like the Princess Di Beanie Baby, like the misprint, like Survival, it's the planes flying upside down on the stamp.
Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
All right, next up here. So now we're moving on to some other sellers here. That's is
a t-shirt.
Outplay Puzzles.
That is a shirt. It's a napkin.
This is Survivor-inspired compass puzzle replica as seen on season 34 Game Changers. So this was a pretty complicated puzzle from Survivor Game Changers, and this is the replica of it. I'm about to get its deets at the moment, not Terry deets.
It looks like it's a napkin.
It does. I thought at first it was on a t-shirt. Upon closer inspection, it does not appear to be. I think it's just the backdrop that's like a sheet or something.
Yeah, it's just like a piece of paper. So it is 34 puzzle pieces plus a base holder to keep your structure freestanding like you see on the show. It's approximately 9.5 inches tall and 8.5 inches wide.
So this is from a different company. This is or a different maker of puzzles. This is Outplay Puzzles. So I wonder.
But I like this if it's freestanding. That's really cool. Like I don't know. I don't want to be the guy who's on here just being like, "Wow, y'all make stuff," but that's really kind of dope. But it's really tiny. It's small. It's very small.
I think this is $34. It is $34 based off of the season as seen on Game Changers.
All right, Chappell, how much will you change your price? Are you a price changer based on the Game Changers puzzle here?
Michael, do we know what it's made out of?
I think it's 3D printed.
It's a 3D printed replica, yes.
It's so nice.
3D. If you want to know specifics, this puzzle is 3D printed using PLA filament.
That changes everything.
I'm going with
$35. I'm sorry. That filament changes everything.
Well, I'm gonna do what Chappell threatened to do to both of us. You technically both went over 25 even.
Oh my god, Chappell, you could get it.
I could. I'm literally gonna get this. Outplay puzzles.
It's only 35 pieces.
I'm literally going to get this. This is it's done. It is now, and I will be able to present it next time I'm on the B&B. I'm going to show off my puzzle.
Oh, beautiful. Yay. All right, next up, let's see if we can fill out more of Chappell's background moving forward. Challenge your
Oh.
senses. Blindfolded 9-piece wood puzzle.
Ah.
CBS Survivor Superfan. Perfect gift. Cutthroat Island engraved and stained. So basically what this is, to describe it, what it is a bit, is that essentially it's a circular puzzle of a tiki, and you are instructed at least to assemble the pieces while blindfolded.
I was gonna say you could cheat, but that doesn't help you if you're preparing to go on Survivor. You're still gonna have to be
Like, why don't you just take off the
blindfolded.
blindfold?
Yeah, why don't you guys just take off the blindfold? It's like way
I did this
easier.
in like 3 seconds at home because I didn't
Yeah.
have a blindfold.
Get it together, guys. Interesting. Okay. All wood.
See, yeah, again, I love the craftsmanship, but I wouldn't purchase this because I just feel like if I have to do it blindfolded, then it could have been anything. I'm gonna screw it up when I get there anyway. It's fine. But I think this would be more expensive than that compass, because the compass was outrageously cheap, for my opinion. It was very small though. Go with the 69. 69.
There we go. Liana, what are you thinking?
Man. Okay, I was gonna go closer to like $57.
Yeah, I mean, y'all keep overshooting here. This one's another steal. $31.95 for this puzzle. And this is from, I didn't put it up, but as indicated by the name, Cutthroat Island is the name of the seller on this one.
Oh, I thought that was just a Survivor season I missed.
And this is wood, like actual wood, or is it like that fake wood? You know what I'm kind of talking about.
No, it is wood. It doesn't say the type of wood, but it insists. I see the word wood here at least half a dozen times within the listing.
Okay.
Unless they're really trying to like sell me something, right? Like, wood puzzle. It's a wood puzzle. Just in case you wanted to ask yourself, this puzzle is made of wood. It came from a tree.
Right. Like they said it one too many times. Now it's suspect.
You pick it up and it's that particle board or whatever. You're
Exactly.
like, God damn it. Or cork board.
Just made of banana peels.
I think that if I have to be an endorsement for somebody, Cutthroat Island's puzzles are a lot more affordable, and maybe Vexel should pay attention to their competitors. You know what I'm saying?
I think Vexel wants to like really go for like, listen, if you want to be a Survivor player, you have to spend $230 to get all 3 table mazes.
Get what you pay for.
Get what you pay for.
All right, last couple here. And this is a little bit off the board. This doesn't technically count, but I saw it, so I have to talk about this. Survivor bingo board, printable TV show drinking game. Tribe Has Spoken by Zin Printed.
Now, listen to me, Michael. We need to know every question on this game.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up right now. So essentially what this is a bingo board for your Survivor playing night. So let me see if I could come up with a couple of examples they have. There are 10 unique bingo boards that are a part of this. The description starts with, don't be a casual. Bring Survivor bingo to your next Wednesday night watch party or solo adventure. It's a little sadder if it's your solo adventure, not to judge too much, but that's just my reading of it. Your purchase includes 10 original and unique bingo boards with no repeating squares, plus a blank template to create your own. That's a total of 240 Survivor-specific squares to scavenge throughout the season. As a superfan millennial Etsy shop owner, this game is spoiler-free and works no matter the ridiculous theme, new era, or back-to-basics binge. Boards can be played every week/episode and are endlessly reusable.
Okay, I'm trying to read some of these. I see Keep the Tribe Strong, Shot in the Dark, Tribal Council Tie / Revote.
Let me read off some here. So I have players grouped by age. Player talks about their childhood. Jeff comes to camp for any reason, usually a bad one. Oh, they have a field day this season.
God.
Fate in the game is said. Player wears their buff in a unique way. That's tough to say because now we're 44 seasons in. Nobody does anything unique in Survivor anymore. Player hides something in their pants. Keep the tribe strong. Player has to sneak out of camp at night undetected for an advantage. Well, I apologize and printed. That has gone off the board. In this game, fire represents your life. Shot in the dark. Player seems physically incapable of not being bossy. That's judgy. Player talks about parenthood. Blurred out body part. Ooh. Tribal Council tie / revote. Beautiful drone shot. I don't know if that counts with like Matthew falling, if that's a beautiful drone shot. Jeff narrates challenge using sexual innuendo. Tribe assigns the nerdiest looking player to the puzzle. That feels very subjective.
I
No, it
want to
doesn't.
play this.
Jeff
Does
wears
this
a
player
blue
have
button-
glasses or not?
Jeff wears a blue button-down half-sleeve cargo shirt. Prisoner's dilemma. Well, sorry, that's gone now. Player starts to get, quote, island hot. Juror walks in looking... Okay, they meant to say pissed, but it says juror walks in looking, in all caps, pisses.
Look at pisses. I'm pisses.
I'm so pisses.
And also, finally, which this season is full of, positive LGBTQ plus representation.
Okay, I really want this. So I'm really hoping, because I assume this will go over a whole season. This isn't just like a one episode kind of thing, right? Like you play it throughout the whole season. Because
Well,
do you think you could hit bingo? I guess we'll never know until we try.
well, is the goal to hit bingo or is it just a drinking game? Because like, what do I, like we're all watching it at the same time. So it's not like you could get bingo and I can't get bingo. We both saw it. You heard, like we all
You have
simultaneously.
your card. You'd have your bingo.
I
Oh.
think, listen, I've been consuming pop culture for a while now. I know my way around a drinking game. I think what you would do is like take a sip if you hit a square, and then if you get a bingo, it's like finish your drink, right? Like there are
Gotcha.
stages to it.
Okay. I want to buy this too, but for Jordan Kalish. Like I feel like he should have it.
Like Jordan needs this.
Yeah, he's always hosting those games and stuff like that. Could he just it'd be cool? He just passed out, so then people start buying shots. I'm sorry if this is in my price range, which is very low. Then I might actually purchase it for Jordan Kalish.
All right, so Liana, it is on you. How much do you think? So remember, this is 10 bingo boards plus a blank board for you to fill out your own.
Okay, I'm gonna say $20.
$20. Chappell, what are you thinking?
21.
All right, well, I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is you both don't get a point.
Oh.
Good news is $10.
I'm buying 2 of them for Jordan Kalish.
Yay!
Yay! Now all his friends can play.
Yeah, so no one can become pisses when they play the Survivor bingo board game.
I'm so happy. And this is by Zen Printed. I'm purchasing this. I'm not even lying.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Okay.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Well, okay. There's one last one that I need to bring up here. It doesn't really have to do with challenges. It doesn't really have to do with board games of any kind. In fact, it doesn't have anything to do with the board whatsoever. But wow, does it have to deal with Survivor? I found this, and so you all have to stare at it as well. Jeff Probst vintage bootleg tee. Jeff Probst vintage graphic shirt. Jeff Probst fan merch from Tradition AA.
I love the shirtless one.
I am obsessed. I just don't know. Like if you're Jeff Probst and somebody walks up to you with this shirt on,
Right. What's your reaction?
like how fast do you call the police?
Yeah, so just to illustrate for people at home, so these are 5 pictures of Jeff Probst, like he's his own doo-wop group. It is a couple of him in the traditional Survivor green cap. One is a headshot of him in the orange Survivor cap. One is of like the younger Jeff Probst without the hat. And then peeking in the back there on the left is a
Naked
shot
Jeff.
of Jeff Probst naked holding the bacon plate from his episode in 2.5 Men.
This is iconic.
I'm sorry. I'm obsessed with this shirt. I would never wear it, but the fact that it exists makes me so happy.
I like the lightning behind him too. Like
I thought that was his signature. I couldn't tell what the hell that was.
No,
Oh,
it's
I
just
think
it's
it's
like he's
lightning.
inside one of those plasma balls. Like this is pure like Wolf Shirt
Oh.
Wednesday energy from the shirt.
Jeff
Bootleg
Probst.
tee.
I don't. Why are they not selling this on the CBS store?
Right. Why is Jeff not selling this? This shirt has his likeness and his name. Does he
Oh yeah,
know
I should
about
say
this
actually,
tradition?
I think we found his burner account.
Right.
Oh, yes! Oh my god, I would totally believe it. Jeff is selling Jeff Probst shirts on the side. He's like, CBS won't let me put them in the store. I'm just gonna put them out there, which also explains the 2.5 Men naked shot that is still included.
Could
Oh boy. Okay, well, I know what this is worth in my heart, but financially,
Infinite amount of money in Liana's
yes,
heart.
exactly. You cannot put a price on this.
All right, Chappell, you are the final one to set the price here. How much do you think this quintet of Jeff Probst in shirt form is worth?
is this such a stupid t-shirt? But It is iconic. It probably like I know it's Easter, but this might be my God now. Um,
Mhm.
oh man, oh man, this is
Who needs
I
the
just
apostles when you have the apostles?
man, like they made him like a wrestler, you know, like back in the day. There's like the Hulkamania shirt. That's what this is. Oh
Yeah,
man,
that is what it looks like.
is this shirt $35? What is the shirt? What? Okay, let's go with $40 for this T-shirt.
$40. Okay, Liana.
I don't. There's no way it's that much because the Sorry for You shirts are not that expensive. Now it is. It does say vintage,
It
so
does.
that
But then it
does.
does say bootleg.
It does say bootleg, which makes
Right.
it cheaper. You're right. Ah, damn
Which
it.
are
I
like
guess
yeah,
polar
I
bootleg
see
opposites
what
of
part.
each other.
Also, it's not traditional. It's traditional, which I don't know if that means anything. So I'm gonna say $1.
Okay, Liana gets the win here.
Yes.
21-3 for the Jeff
Oh,
Probst shirt. It
I
says
think I want to buy this for Jordan Kalish too.
yeah, it
What the
Yeah, he
technically
hell?
needs
says
this
it's
one.
technically 21-3 plus, meaning I guess depending on like shipping, it might be more expensive, but that's like the baseline price. If you're negotiating like a typical Jeff Probst situation, that's
Mhm.
your starting point. $21.23.
Do you think they'd okay this T-shirt to wear it on the island?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think like the Johnny Fairplay will lie for food hat and
Mhm.
like him walking out in Jeff Probst's shirt is probably the
Mhm.
closest we'll ever get to
Mhm.
this. I think if people are going out there to play for Survivor 45 or at least for 46, one of you needs to at least wear this shirt in Ponderosa.
To
I
try. Mhm.
Well, because infamously what happens in Ponderosa, I don't know if they still do this, but I know back in the day, Jeff would like talk to the contestants before the season starts, like at Ponderosa, basically being like, here's the season. Hope you all enjoy it. Just remember, like, have a great time. Embrace the experience, the danger, the monsters here. Bye. And I'm assuming like runs off into the jungle or something.
Mhm.
I want him to meet these contestants, and at least one of them is wearing this shirt
Mhm.
and just see how he reacts to that.
Do you think it would react in the same way that he reacted when Kane asked him to knight him? It's like, you okay? Great, sure. I don't.
All right.
Okay.
Whatever that means. I got you.
Yeah.
This shirt is amazing. It is. I'm wondering if we can we make a shirt like this for Rob? Like not obviously like it says
Oh,
Rob Sesternino, and then it's got like Rob with his sexy muscle shirt on from the Amazon in the back, you know, because I don't think he was ever naked.
Yes.
But I mean, we
yeah,
can get a
and
naked
then
picture
like
of Rob.
the fashion show Rob, the Rob holding the
Yes.
vote. All
Yes!
right, people, get on this. Come on, we got a lot of creative
Yes.
individials out there in the B&B world.
You
Do
need to
it.
hear us,
Make this
Tradition
happen.
AA. Yeah, Tradition I. You got us. Yeah,
By
call
season's
us.
end, we shall see it happen. Well, Liana, congratulations. You were more right on the money, though I think truly in this sense, we are all the winner. For any future Survivor players out there, you have been given a bevy of resources to use in any and every way that you can.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for Chappell to make his purchases so that we can see some of these items.
Usually with the prices work, I have Survivor trading cards and the Survivor DVD game accumulating cobwebs in my closet. Someone always buys something from every time we play this game. That's just the rule of it.
It's amazing.
Well, I got it, and I Jordan Kalish is getting a lot of Christmas gifts this year. You know, funny enough, I purchased something on Etsy when I was back in 2020 when I first started podcasting. Whatever, I was very excited. I wanted to get one of the podcasters a gift. I don't know if I ever told this story, but I wanted to get one of the podcasters a gift from the class of 2020, and I was like, who do I get? And so I sat down and really thought about it. I was like, who do I really want to make happy for Christmas? And I got on Etsy and I found the people who make those Big Brother keys.
Uh-huh.
And they make those Big Brother Christmas cards, and it's like have a Merry Davon Christmas or some shit like that. And I bought like 2 of them, I think. No, I think I bought one, and I bought the key, and I had their name put on it, and I sent it to them in the mail. And AJ Norris got one for me, and that's the only time I ever purchased anything like that from Etsy. And then when I did it, the Etsy people emailed me and were like, "Wait, is this Chappell from RHAP?" And I was like, yes. They're like, oh my God. I was like, well, send this to AJ from RHAP because I love him. So
That is incredible. Also, I don't know. Well, I love the the idea of the card. I think in the wake of 2020 and Big Brother 22, I don't know if the card saying "Have a Merry Dave on Christmas" is maybe the best thing considering
No.
the relationship between those two by the end of the season.
Listen, I don't even remember what the card said exactly. AJ, if you're listening to this, you have to tell me or something like that. But I swear, I was so excited to buy it for him. I was nervous. I didn't know. Like, I was like, how do I, like, is this weird? Is he going to be happy? And I believe it was from Pretty Good Cards. So it was Beth from Pretty Good Cards was the one. So this is an official endorsement for Beth and her cards, her card shop. But yeah, that was my first time doing it. Yeah, it was a Davon Christmas. It said, damn it, I tried to find it. I think I have to log into Etsy, so never mind. But yes, it said, in a world full of Nicoles, you're a Davon. And I sent that to AJ.
That was on Etsy.
Yeah. Yes. And so Beth from Pretty Good Cards, thank you so much. But yeah, this was fun. I cannot wait to surprise Jordan Kalish with his 3 Christmas gifts.
Oh my God. Listen, there's 8 nights of Hanukkah, so you filled out the slate properly. Well, Chappell,
Yeah.
as much as you were recognized by an Etsy seller back in the day, of course, we're going to give you the opportunity to recognize a charity or cause outside of all of these shenanigans, to shine a light on something that may be happening in the world. That if we have the ways and means to donate our attention and money to do so. So, what would you like to highlight this week?
Well, as many people know, last week was my birthday, and every year on my birthday, I like to give a donation to St. Jude. Every year, I mean, without fail, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital gets a donation from Chappell. I really, I don't have to talk about how great St. Jude is because I do this every year. But please, if you find it in your heart and you want to give, by all means, help raise money for those tiny people, those children out here battling cancer. This is for research. This is to help them. Also, like, it gives them different programs as well. So I think one of the things I raised money for, and I'm going to look this up so I can get the exact wording for it. It was like the No More something party that I did that I funded with my donation. It was very cool to know that like it's more than just like research. It's also treatment, housing, food, all those things. And so it says you're a rock star and your money went to the No More Chemo parties.
Oh,
and so
that's
I
amazing.
funded I funded 3 No More Chemo parties, and that is so cool to me. And so, if you have the time or you want to give to St. Jude, go ahead and do it. You can do it through one of my links that I'm always posting, or you could just go give it for yourself. But yeah, that's my thing, and I hope that people find it in their heart to give.
Yeah, that is incredible, and happy belated Chappell as well as you. It was
Thank
a big,
you.
you, Asia, Taryn. It's always like the big birthday week on RHAP, first week of April.
Yeah, the Aries got the RHAP on their backs, and we just carrying and dragging all the rest of you people along.
Well, we are so happy to be dragged along, not only over the course of this week, but through this podcast as well. We are far from pisses about the opportunity to get to talk with you about anything, let alone this really interesting, goofy Survivor season and where it goes from here. Of course, you are always doing so many things out there in the universe, Chappell, besides stocking Jordan's stockings for the season, I suppose. What do you have going on there podcast-wise?
Yeah, first I want to thank Matt Blankenship for being a good sport in advance, because we did talk about your dick a lot, and we do not want to be sued, and so it was all in good fun. If you do not like this kind of thing, just tweet, just let me know. And I'll retract all my statements about your huge member. That being said, follow me on Twitter at Chappell's_show, and you can catch all of these podcasts I'm talking about because I'm going to tweet out the links. I am on Rob Has a Podcast talking about Netflix shows every week with Rob Cesternino. This week we dropped one episode of Nothing But Netflix with the Rob Lowe movie. I believe it's called on something Unstable. It was great. So check that out.
Okay.
We did that. And then also on Rob Has a Podcast. What am I doing? I think I'm on Big Brother Canada coverage this week. So check that out as well.
Have you watched the season yet?
Girl. And so so check that out too. Post show recaps. I'm talking about Abbott Elementary with Gia Worthy. We have 2 more podcasts left to wrap up the season 2 of Abbott Elementary. On post show recaps, I'm also talking about Bel Air with Puya, and so we're wrapping up season 2 of that. So check that out on Bel Air, a post show recap. And on post show recaps, I'm talking about Snowfall with Latanya and Mari on the Connect on PSR. So check that out. And on post show recaps every month, we're wrapping up Grey's Anatomy coverage with Ariel. So you can check out Grey's Anatomy's Anatomy with myself and Ariel on post show recaps once a month. We talk about the episodes from the month, and that should be released soon because we're going to record it right after this. And so check me out in all those places and follow me on Twitter to keep up with everything else.
How does the Matthew and Bruce drama from this season compare to a typical episode of Grey's?
No one was having sex. So that kind of like just that kind of eliminates it from being a Grey's episode. Like you have to be having sex with a coworker in order for it to have anything to do with Grey's Anatomy. Like it's embedded in there. They did survive. So that's also very not Grey's Anatomy because they killed so many people. HR might have been called because I think there might be some legal issues with you leaving both these people in the game as long as you did, knowing that they were dying. So maybe that has some Grey's overlap, but for the most part, there's a lot more drama on Grey's than this season of Survivor.
Okay, interesting. Well, Liana, I know you are McDreaming of doing your usual round of podcasts this week. What's on the slate for you?
Well, Chappell will be pleased to know this, maybe, that he and I are doing the BB Can coverage together with Puya and Rob.
Oh, that's going to be unhinged.
It's going to be the four of us. You don't have to watch the episode, Chappell. It's not important. You're just coming to hang out with us, okay? That's really what matters
and
the
I won't.
most. Exactly. Thank you. Good. You'll be adequately prepared. So we have that coming up on Tuesday. And then in terms of other stuff I'm doing, of course, BB Can. We actually recorded today to cover the reunion, but we're going to release the reunion and the finale together in one podcast. So there's not going to be one coming out next week. We're going to splice them together next week just because there's not that much to talk about really for either. So that will be one podcast at the end next week. And then Puya and I are doing the Masked Singer. We tried to get the McDonald's Masked Singer toys, but we couldn't find them. And people have been sending photos of the ones that they got from McDonald's. I'm really envious. Like I love seeing the pictures, but I'm really envious. We ordered 4 children's meals, Happy Meals from McDonald's, and we didn't get any. We got some show named Karma's World, and I was sad about it.
Karma's World?
Yeah. Anyway.
Is that like Wayne's World for a new Gen Z Wayne's World?
It was created by Ludacris. So we're blaming Ludacris for this.
We always got to blame Luda. It's
exactly.
Always Luda's fault. Wait, what are these toys like plastic?
They're little plush toys. They're Masked Singer, little Masked Singer. These are plush. I'm so excited.
It's the year 2023.
Yes.
The show has been on the air for 9 seasons, and they say, I think now we're going to call the Golden Arches and get in the zeitgeist again.
That is correct. Now is the opportune time when the show is truly peaking at its most popular.
Nothing like striking while the iron is ice cold.
Let's hit Ludacris up for more. Yeah.
Not striking while the silver is melting to create your own Samotion.
Exactly.
So you can follow me at a Mike Bloom type. You can check out my interview that I did with Josh, which was very illuminating. Josh, as we mentioned, had a pretty wild journey through the game. So he gives his perspective on everything from what was going on in the early days in Soka and his reaction to everyone sort of putting him in trouble, to how genuinely hurt he felt by him and Jam Jam not getting along and how that influenced kind of the personal, emotional way that he looked through everything. His way of sowing chaos and Murgatory as well, and how that did and didn't work out. So really fun interview. Check that out. Usual stuff going on post-show recaps, covering The Mandalorian with special guest appearance from Jack Black, who also made a special guest appearance on the exact same day at Bryce and Wen's viewing party. So it was a wild Wednesday for Jack Black.
Yeah.
Wait, Jack Black was on the podcast?
No, he was on The Mandalorian.
No, on the show.
Okay, yeah. I was like, what? Nobody told me?
We're all 1 degree removed from Jack Black now. We got a selfie with Davey, so that's what I'm counting it as. I do like that too, that like everyone was posting like there's a picture of me on Jack Black's phone somewhere, and like I do not think Jack Black knows who a lot of these people are.
None of them.
Oh, no idea.
None of those people. He knows not one person.
No.
But he was happy to see them, I'm sure.
There's a non-zero chance that Jack Black took a picture of himself in Karsten. He's like, I finally found Harry Potter and I got a selfie with him.
Oh my god, yes. The Wonderkin.
So outside of that, Picard coverage, I'm going to start actually doing a coverage of Barry, which is coming to its final and 4th season next week with Latanya Starks. So really excited about that. Finishing up Heroes. Then, of course, we've got the B&B. But next week, we're doing things a little differently. Much like the game proper, Jeff is going to say there's another twist coming next episode,
Oh
which
my
makes
God.
me very nervous and makes me a little excited that I don't necessarily need to be here to break it all down, because I will be away on my own journey, in a manner of speaking. Boat's coming to pick me up. I just got to start drawing straws to see if I'll get on board. Liana, who is set up to come on in my stead?
Okay, so you've heard of the B&B, but what about the P&P? And I'm not talking about Blankenship here. That again would be the B&B. No, Puya and Peridium are going to be joining me to help bring out whatever this weird twist thing is going to be. We are having a rebranding episode. It's going to be super fun. So definitely check that out next week.
I am so excited for this. Not only because of the three of you, but yeah, as soon as Liana texted me the idea, I said, "Oh, great, the P&P," and we realized this was an opportunity that, much like a Marble and Samotion tabletop version, could not be dropped anytime soon.
It has to exist. Obsessed.
Yeah, so next week it's going to be Liana, Peridium, and Puya breaking down episode 7 of Survivor 44. Now that Josh has been eliminated, the common enemy has been eradicated. What shall happen from here? The jury is beginning. Things are shifting into motion. Just knowing how wacky this cast is, I can only assume the strategy, let alone like what thing is going to be said. How will Carolyn be doubted for the 3rd episode in a row? Only time will tell. So they'll get into that next week. Of course, if you have any game ideas, feel free to send them in, rhapbnb@gmail.com or hashtag rhapbnb. Special shout out to Scott Schupak, who sent me this idea for doing the Price's work around the puzzles you could do at home. Really handy idea, really fun, and great opportunity, as Chappell said, to do a little bit of a window shopping in your own browser window. So thank you for that idea. Send any and all ideas to us. We are accepting of them all. So next week, Liana is going to be joined by Puya and Peridium to break down episode 7. Special thanks to Scott St. Pierre for editing everything behind the scenes, and Will from America for his fantastic theme song. Thank you all so much for listening. Until next time, we'll check you out at your next stay.